नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्य विश्व विष्णुपाद शतरशतश्म श्री भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य विश्व विष्णुपाद शतरशतश्म श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य विश्व विष्णुपाद शतरशतश्म श्री भक्ति विज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य विश्व विष्णुपाद शतरशतश्म श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य विश्व महाभागवत श्री गोक्षरस बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्य विश्व श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्य विश्व वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूप गौरीय गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल पतदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गोपाल शारद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्री श्रीमद्-भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणीति नामिने। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिशे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तम् अनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृतं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितराङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Good. हरि बोल। रसेश्वरी माता जी, रूप मंजरी दीदी, दंडवत प्रणाम गंगा दीदी, and दंडवत प्रणाम माधवी दीदी। Haribol. So yesterday, where were we? We finished the 5th chapter from verse 36, right? That's what I just saw. One second, I'm on chapter 4. Yeah, okay. So, ordered by Dakṣa to create progeny, the Haryashvas go to Narayan Saras in the west to perform austerities, and they become purified. Seeing them qualified for liberation, Narad approaches them and tells them an allegory, which had 10 subjects in it. And the Haryashvas, they understood with their natural intelligence the meaning of this allegory. And thus they all reach the same conclusion of renouncing the path of fruitive activities. Then Dakṣa laments for the renunciation of those sons, and on Brahma's advice, he begets another 1,000 sons, called the Savalashvas. And they also perform austerities, but then Narad approaches them as well, and speaks to them the same cryptic words, and suggests that they follow the path of their elder brothers. Then, hearing of the Savalashvas' renunciation, Dakṣa becomes angry and laments. So let's see here what Dakṣa said. 36. Oops. So there's a table here, and there's a note. Dakṣa's criticism toward Narad Muni gives many lessons for how advocates of Krishna consciousness must tolerate opposition from materialistic people. The following table summarizes Dakṣa's strong criticism of Narad, along with Srila Prabhupada's lessons from the purports. So Dakṣa's criticism of Narad Muni and his arguments against his son's renunciation. So Dakṣa says, "Oh Narad, you are an asadhu, an impostor in the dress of a sadhu. I am a sadhu in grihastha life, but you have done injustice by showing my inexperienced sons the path of renunciation." Srila Prabhupada says, despite the accusations of materialistic persons, devotees preach Krishna consciousness. Then Dakṣa says, "Oh Narad, you are sin personified. My sons are not yet free of the 3 debts. You have obstructed their good fortune in this life and the next." What were the 3 debts? One was their debt to your father, your debt to the sadhus, and your debt to the demigods, was it? Let's see. Okay, there are the renounced order is recommended for attaining liberation, but this is not possible unless one fulfills the 3 debts. They are one's obligations to the sages by celibacy, the demigods by sacrifices, and the father by begetting offspring. All right. So Srila Prabhupada comments, renouncing for the sake of the Supreme Lord frees one of all debts. A Vaishnav's duty is to enable one to go back to Godhead. Then Dakṣa says to Narad, "You are devoid of compassion. Needlessly, you spoiled the minds of innocent boys. And you're defaming the Supreme Lord, although moving amongst his associates. You are shameless." So Srila Prabhupada says, a bhakti yogi is callous to the opinions of the material world. You are a breaker of friendships, a creator of enmity amongst the non-envious. All the Lord's devotees except you are kind to everyone. So Srila Prabhupada says, devotees are suhridam sarva bhutanam, friendly to all. Devotees do not create enemies, but non-devotees become inimical. Let us be tolerant, merciful, and continue preaching. Then, knowledge brings real detachment, not by changing dress like you have done. Srila Prabhupada says, Narad actually roused knowledge in Dakṣa's sons, and thus they became detached. And Dakṣa says, personal experience of the misery of false happiness will naturally induce detachment. Srila Prabhupada comments, material nature induces one to enjoy even after suffering. Automatic detachment is impossible. Dakṣa says, one whose mind is changed by others can't be so renounced. Srila Prabhupada says, detachment is possible by the devotee's blessings. Dakṣa says, you may be forgiven once for displeasing an honest griha vrata, one engaged in the vows of household life without sinful acts. You may be forgiven once, but a second time, no. So Srila Prabhupada says, Dakṣa wanted to prove that he had been tolerant when Narad induced his first group of sons to adopt the path of renunciation. So then Dakṣa curses him. You again created the same misfortune for me. I curse you to travel all over the universe without any residence. So that you can turn the whole universe into renunciates, right? Srila Prabhupada, traveling punishment is a boon to a preacher. Dakṣa, a griha medhi, attached to household life, thought that having no residence is a great punishment. So then, though capable of cursing Dakṣa in return, Narad tolerantly accepted the curse. Such behavior is befitting his saintly character. Note, why did Narad tolerate Dakṣa's accusations and curse? Narad could have left immediately, but he thought, let Dakṣa exhibit his anger and curse me. When his anger subsides, he will understand that I tolerated everything and did not criticize him or curse him in return. Then he will repent for his misbehavior. Then he will be a suitable field for me to sow the seed of bhakti. Thinking in this way, Narad remains there for the appropriate moment. But seeing that Dakṣa was not repentant, he then left thinking, oh, what power the remnants of offense to Lord Shiva have. Hari Bol, Prajumna Prabhu, and Mantra Murthy Mataji. Alright, so now today we're going to be reading a ton of family lines right now. Might be a little bit of a boring chapter. I mean, not boring. Why did I say that? I didn't say that. Descendants of the daughters of Dakṣa. Although Dakṣa became disgusted with household life, Lord Brahma instructed him to beget children again. This time, Dakṣa was very cautious to beget daughters instead of sons, so that Narad would not disturb them for accepting the renounced order. So Dakṣa and Asikni, they give birth to 60 daughters. 10 daughters married Yamaraj, 17 daughters married Kashyapa, 27 daughters married the moon god, and 2 daughters each married Angira, Krishashva, and Bhuta. These daughters and the descendants filled all the 3 worlds. Alright, so that's what we're reading today. Let's open this up. It's a short chapter though, which is good because I started late today. The progeny of the daughters of Dakṣa. As described in this chapter, Prajapati Dakṣa begot 60 daughters in the womb of his wife Asikni. These daughters were given in charity to various persons to increase the population. Since these offspring of Dakṣa were women, Narad Muni did not try to lend them toward the renounced order of life. Thus the daughters were saved from Narad Muni. 10 of the daughters were given in marriage to Dharmaraj, 13 to Kashyapa Muni, and 27 to the moon god, Chandra. In this way, 50 daughters were distributed, and on the order of and of the other 10 daughters, 4 were given to Kashyapa, and 2 each to Bhuta, Angira, and Krishashva. One should know that it is because of the union of these 60 daughters with various exalted personalities that the entire universe was filled with various kinds of living entities, such as human beings, demigods, demons, beasts, birds, and serpents. Shri Shuka Uvacha Tata prachetaso siknyam anunita swayam bhuva shashtim sanjanayam asa duhitri pitrivatsalaha. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, "My dear king, thereafter, at the request of Lord Brahma, Prajapati Dakṣa, who is known as the Prachetasa, begot 60 daughters in the womb of his wife Asikni. All the daughters were very affectionate toward their father." Purport. After the incidents concerning the loss of his many sons, Dakṣa repented for his misunderstanding with Narad Muni. Lord Brahma then saw Dakṣa and instructed him to beget children again. This time, Dakṣa was very cautious to beget female children instead of male children, so that Narad Muni would not disturb them by urging them to accept the renounced order. Females are not meant for the renounced order of life. They should be faithful to their good husbands, for if a husband is competent for liberation, his wife will also achieve liberation with him. As stated in the Shastra, the results of a husband's pious activities are shared by his wife. Therefore, a woman's duty is to be very chaste and faithful to her husband. Then, without separate endeavor, she will share in all the profit the husband earns. Dasha dharmaya kayadar dvishatri navachindave bhutangira krishashvebhyo dve dve tarkshyaya chaparaha. He gave 10 daughters in charity to Dharmaraj, Yamaraj, 13 to Kashyapa, first 12 and then 1 more, 27 to the moon god, and 2 each to Angira, Krishashva, and Puta. The other 4 daughters were given to Kashyapa. Thus Kashyapa received 17 daughters in all. Namadheyanyamusham tvam saptyanam sapatyanam chameshrinu yasang prasuti prasavar loka apuritastraya. Now please hear from me the names of all these daughters and their descendants, who filled all the 3 worlds. Bhanurlamba kakudyamir vishwasadhya marutvati vasur mahurta sankalpa dharma patnya sutang shrinu. The 10 daughters given to Yamaraj were named Bhanu, Lamba, Kakud, Yami, Vishwa, Sadhya, Marutvati, Vasu, Muhurta, and Sankalpa. Now hear the names of their sons. Bhanustu Devarishabha, Indrasenas Tato Nripa, Vidyota Asilam Bhayas, Tatashchastanayit Yitnava. O king, a son named Deva Rishabha was born from the womb of Bhanu, and from him came a son named Indrasena. From the womb of Lamba came a son named Vidyota, who generated all the clouds. That's interesting. Kakuda sankatastasya kikitastanayo yata bhuvo durgani yameya swargo nandhistato bhavat. From the womb of Kakud came the son named Sankata, whose son was named Kikata. From Kikata came the demigods named Durga. From Yami came the son named Swarga, whose son was named Nandi. Vishve devastu vishvaya aprajangstang prachakshate sadhyo ganascha sadhyaya artha siddhistu tat sutaha. The sons of Vishva were the Vishvadevs, who had no progeny. From the womb of Sadhya came the Sadhyas, who had a son named Arthasiddhi. Marutvangscha jayantascha marutatva babhuvatu jayanto vasudevangsha upendra iti yang vidhu. The 2 sons who took birth from the womb of Marutvati were Marutvan and Jayanta. Jayanta, who is an expansion of Lord Vasudeva, is known as Upendra. Mahurtika devagana muhurtayascha jagire yevai phalam prayachanti bhutanam swasvakalajam. I forgot to offer pranams to Indira Mataji in the future. Anyways, Dandavat pranams Indira Mataji. Just came. The demigods named the Muhurtikas took birth from the womb of Muhurta. These demigods deliver the results of actions to the living entities of their respective times. Sankalpayastu sankalpa kama sankalpaja smrita vasavoshto vasoputras tesham namani me shrinu drona prana Durvorkognir dosha vastur vibhavasu dronasya bhimate patnya harsha shoka bhayataya. The son of Sankalpa was known as Sankalpa, and from him lust was born. The sons of Vasu were known as the 8 Vasus. Just hear their names from me: Drona, Prana, Dhruva, Arka, Agni, Dosha, Vastu, and Vibha Vasu. From Abhimati, the wife of Vasu named Drona, were generated from the sons named Harsha, Shoka, Bhaya, and so on. Eight Vasus. Okay. Pranasyorjasvati bharya saha ayu parojava dhruvasya bharya dharanyir asuta vividha pura. Urjasvati, the wife of Pran, gave birth to 3 sons named Saha, Ayus, and Purojava. The wife of Dhruva was known as Dharani, and from her womb various cities took birth. Arkasya vasana bharya putrastarsha daya smritaha Agner bharya vasordhara putra dravinakadaya. From the womb of Vasana, the wife of Arka, came many sons headed by Tarsha. Dhara, the wife of the Vasu named Agni, gave birth to many sons headed by Dravinaka.
ভ্যাকসিনের জন্য হচ্ছে করতে যাচ্ছি, অনলাইনে নাম লাগাতে যাচ্ছি। আপনারা এখানে আধার কার্ড আছে?
আমার আধার কার্ড আছে, হ্যাঁ। কেন
ভ্যাকসিনের জন্য?
না,
যদি বৃন্দাবন যাওয়া হয় উত্তরপ্রদেশে, তার তো টিকিট দেবে না, না? এই জন্য তো বলছি।
কিন্তু আমি নিতে চাই না এখন। Skandascha kritika putro ye vishakadayastata doshasya sarvari putra shishumaro hare kala. From Kritika, another wife of Agni, came the son named Skanda Kartikeya, whose sons were headed by Vishaka. From the womb of Sharvari, the wife of the Vasu named Dosha, came the son named Shishumara, who is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So far, two descendants were from the personality of Godhead. Shishumara and what was the other one? God, I have such a bad memory. I just read it. Oh my God, what was it? Anyways, I'll look after. Vastur angirasi putra vishvakarma kriti pati tato manush chakshusho bhur vishve sadhya manosutaha. From Angirasi, the wife of the Vasu named Vastu, was born the great architect Vishvakarma. Vishvakarma became the husband of Akriti, from whom the Manu named Chakshusha was born. The sons of Manu were known as the Vishvadevs and the Sadhyas. Vibhavasur asutosha vyushtam rochi shamatapam panchayamota bhutani yena jagrati karmasu. Usha, the wife of Vibhavasu, gave birth to 3 sons, Vyushta, Rochisha, and Atapa. From Atapa came Panchayama, the span of a day, who awakens all living entities to material activities. There's a line missing here. Let me take it off of reader view. 1718. Sarupa sutta bhutasya bharya rudrangscha kotisha raivato jo bhavo bhimo vama ugro vrisha kapi ajay kapad ahir bradhano bahuropo rupo mahaniti rudrasya parshadaschanye ghora preta vinayaka. I have a question here, though. Like it said that from Atapa came Panchayama, the span of a day. So, is the span of a day, is that like there's a person who is like it's a human, like it's a person with a form with legs and hands and eyes and like a body and personality and everything like that, but he's represented like he's the, what do you say, the controlling deity of the span of the day or something like that. Like that's his, I don't know, his responsibility to keep that in order. That's what my question is. Sarupa, I almost read the translation like a verse. Sarupa, the wife of Bhuta, gave birth to the 10 million Rudras, of whom the 11 principal Rudras were Raivata, Aja, Bhava, Bhima, Vama, Ugra, Vrishakapi, Ajaykapat, Ahir, Bradhana, Bahurupa, and Mahan. Their associates, the ghosts and goblins, who are very fearful, were born of the other wife of Bhuta. Bhuta means ghost. That's how you say ghost. Bhut. So, wait a second. 11 principal Rudras. Because the Rudras were born directly from Brahma with no mother, but I guess those are different Rudras, right? And so then there are other. Anyways, let's see what the purport says. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that Bhuta had 2 wives. One of them, Sarupa, gave birth to the 11 Rudras, and the other wife gave birth to the associates of the Rudras, known as the ghosts and the hobgoblins. What is a hobgoblin? I have like an idea in my head what they look like, but that's just from reading fantasy stories. A mischievous imp or sprite. Okay. Prajapatir angirasa swadha patni pitrin ata atarvangirasam vedam putratve chakarot sati. The Prajapati Angira had 2 wives, named Swadha and Sati. The wife named Sadhva accepted all the Pitas as her sons, and Sati accepted the Atharvangirasa Veda as her son. All the Pitas? The Pitas, aren't those of the forefathers? Like, whatever. I don't know actually what I'm talking about. Okay. Krishashvarchishi bharyayam dhumaketum ajijanat dishanayam vidashiro Devalam Vayunam Manum. Krishashva had 2 wives named Archis and Dishana. In the wife named Archis, he begot Dhumaketu, and in Dishana, he begot 4 sons named Vedashira, Devala, Vayuna, and Manu. Line missing here, so let me take it out. Tarkshasya Vinnata Kadru Patangi Yaminiticha Patangasutta Patangyasutta Patagan Yamini Shalabham Ata Suparna Sutta Garudam Shaksharya Geshavahanam Surya Sutam Anurungcha Kadrur Nagan Anekasha. Kashyapa, who is also named Tarksha, had 4 wives, Vinata, Suparna, Kadru, Patangi, and Yamini. Patangi gave birth to many kinds of birds, and Yamini gave birth to locusts. Vinata, Suparna, gave birth to Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, and to Anuru, or Aruna, the chariot driver of the sun god. Oh wow, I didn't know Aruna and Garuda were brothers. Kadru gave birth to different varieties of serpents. Kritikadini nakshatran Indo patnyastu bharata Dakṣa shapat sunapatyas tasu yakshma grahardita. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharatas, the constellations named Kritika were all wives of the moon god. However, because Prajapati Dakṣa had cursed him to suffer from a disease causing gradual destruction, the moon god could not beget children in any of his wives. I'm going to look at the comments after this translation. Purna prasadatam soma kalale bhikshaye ditaha shrinu namani lokanam maitrinam shankarani cha ata kashyapa patninam yat prasutam idam jagat adityar danu kashta arishta surasa ila muni krodha vashatamra Surabhi Saramatimi Timir Yado Gana Asan Swapada Saramasuta. Thereafter, the king of the moon pacified Prajapati Dakṣa with courteous words, and thus regained the portions of light he had lost during his disease. Nevertheless, he could not beget children. The moon loses his shining power during the dark fortnight, and in the bright fortnight it is manifest again. O King Parikshit, now please hear from me the names of Kashyapa's wives, from whose wombs the population of the entire universe has come. They are the mothers of almost all the population of the entire universe, and their names are very auspicious to hear. They are Aditi, Diti, Danu, Kashta, Arishta, Surasa, Ila, Muni, Krodvasha, Tamra, Surabhi, Sarama, and Timi. From the womb of Timi, all the aquatics took birth, and from the womb of Sarama, the ferocious animals like the tigers and lions took birth. Actually, I'm just going to continue. Surabher mahisha gavo ye chane dvishapa nripa tamraya shena gridradya munir apsarasam gana. My dear King Parikshit, from the womb of Surabhi, the buffalo, the cow, and other animals were cloven hooves took birth. From the womb of Tamra, the eagles, vultures, and other large birds of prey took birth. And from the womb of Muni, the angels took birth. Dandashukadaya sarpa rajan krodavashatmaja ilaya bhuruha sarve yatudhanascha sorasaha. The sons born of Krodavasha were the serpents known as Dandashuka, as well as other serpents and the mosquitoes. All the various creepers and trees were born from the womb of Ila. The Rakshasas, bad spirits, were born from the womb of Surasa. Arishthayastu Gandharva Kashtaya Dvishapetara Sutadanor Eka Shashtis Tesham Pradhanikam Shunu Dvimurdha Shambharor Rishto Hayagriva Vibhavasu Ayomukha Shankushira Svarbhanu Kapilor Aruna Puloma Vrishaparvacha Ekachakra Nutapana Dhumrakeshva Virupaksho Viprachitishcha Durjaya. The Gandharvas were born from the womb of Arishta, and the animals whose hooves are not split, such as the horse, were born from the womb of Kashta. O king, from the womb of Danu came 61 sons, of whom these 18 were very important. Dvimudra, Shambhara, Arishta, Hayagriva, Vibhavasu, Ayomukha, Sankushira, Svarbhanu, Kapila, Aruna, Puloma, Vrishaparva, Ekachakra, Anutapana, Dhumrakesha, Virupaksha, Viprachiti, and Durjaya. Okay, let me look at the comments really quick. Open up. Jumna says, I think Ganesh is also called Dhumaketu. Yeah, gotta watch out for those hobgoblins. Okay. Okay. Swarbhano suprabham kanyam uvaha muchi kila vrishaparvanastu sharmishtam yayatir nahusho bali. The daughter of Svarbhanu, named Suprabha, was married by Namuchi. The daughter of Vrishaparva, named Sharmishta, was given to the powerful king Yayati, the son of Nahusha. Okay. Vaishvanara Sutayascha Chatasrascha Rudarshana Upadhana Vihayashirsha Puloma Kalakatata Upadhana Vim Hiranyaksha Kraturhaya Shiram Nripa Pulomam Kalakam Chadve Vaishvanara Sutetuka Upayeme Bhagavan Kashyapo Brahmachodita Poloma Kalakeyascha Danava Yudhashalina Tayo Shashti Sahasrani Yagyagnangste Pitu Pita Jaghana Svargato Rajan Eka Indra Priyankara. Vaishvanara, the son of Dhanu, had 4 beautiful daughters named Upadanavi, Hayashirsha, Puloma, and Kalaka. Hiranyaksha married Upadanavi, and Kratu married Hayashirsha. Thereafter, at the request of Lord Brahma, Prajapati Kashyapa married Puloma and Kalaka. The other 2 daughters, So, Prajapati Kashyapa married Puloma and Kalaka, the other 2 daughters of Vaishvanara. I get so lost with all of this. I need to see a table. Anyways, from the wombs of these 2 wives of Kashyapa came 60,000 sons, headed by Nivata Kavacha, who are known as the Polomas and the Kalakeyas. Oh yeah. Oh, we just read about the Kalakeyas the other day, right? Rup Manjari? These are the Kalakeyas who caused a lot of trouble for the world. And what is his name? Agastya Muni. He had to drink the ocean. Anyways, maybe they're different Kalakeyas. They were physically very strong and expert in fighting, and their aim was to disturb the sacrifices performed by the great sages. My dear king, when your grandfather Arjuna went to the heavenly planets, he alone killed all these demons, and thus King Indra became extremely affectionate toward him. Viprachiti samhikayam shatam chaikam aji janat rahu jeshtam ketu shatam grahatvam yar upagataha. And his wife Sinhika, Viprachiti begot 101 sons, of whom the eldest is Rahu, and the others are the 100 Ketus. All of them attained positions in the influential planets. Atata shruyatam vangsho yoditeranupurvashaha yatra narayana deva swangshena vatarar vibhu viviswan aryamapusha tvashtata savita bhaga dhata vidhata varuno mitra shatru urukrama. Now please hear from me as I describe the descendants of Aditi in chronological order. In this dynasty, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, descended by his plenary expansion. The names of the sons of Aditi are as follows: Viviswan, Aryama, Pusha, Tvashta, Savita, Bhaga, Dhata, Vidhata, Varuna, Mitra, Shatru, and Urukrama. Which one's Narayan? Is it Urukrama? It must be Urukrama. Vivaswata Shadha Devam Sangyasu Yatavai Manum Mitunang Cha Mahabhaga Yamang Devam Yamintata Saiva Bhutvatavadava Nasatyo Sushave Bhuvi. Sangya, the wife of Vivaswan, the sun god, gave birth to the Manu named Shraddhadev. And the same fortunate wife also gave birth to the twins Yamaraj and the river Yamuna. Then Yami, while wandering on the earth in the form of a mare, gave birth to the Ashwini Kumars. Wait, what's a mare? Or is it? Wait, a mare is an English word. Why is it going in the Sanskrit dictionary? Whatever. Here. The female of a horse or other equine animal. Equine animal. Alright, female horse. Hey, what happened? There. Alright. Chaya shanaishcharam lebhe savarnim chamanum tata kanyam cha tapatim yavai vavre samvaranam patim. Chaya, another wife of the sun god, begot two sons named Shanaishchara and Savarni Manu, and one daughter Tapati, who married Samvarana. Aryam no matrika patni tayoscharsha naya sutta yatra vai manushi jatir brahmana chopakalpita. From the womb of Matrika, the wife of Aryama, were born many learned scholars. Among them, Lord Brahma created the human species, which are endowed with an aptitude for self-examination. Interesting, huh? The human species are endowed with an aptitude for self-examination. I guess the others aren't. Pushana patyapishtada bhagnadanto bhavatpura yoso dakshaya kupitam jahasa vivrita dvijaha. Pusha had no sons. When Lord Shiva was angry at Dakṣa, Pusha had laughed at Lord Shiva and shown his teeth. Therefore he lost his teeth and had to live by eating only ground flour. So it happens when you laugh at Shiva. Tvashtur daityatmaja bharya rachana nama kanyaka saniveshastayor jagye vishwarupascha viryavan. Rachana, the daughter of the Daitas, became the wife of Prajapati Tvashta. By his semina, he begot in her womb two very powerful sons named Sanivesha and Vishvarupa. Sorry, I'm just curious, is that... Oh, interesting. No, never mind. Tam vivrire sutagana swasriyam dishatam api vimatena parityakta kurunangirasenayat. Although Vishvarupa was the son of the daughter of their eternal enemies, the demons, the demigods accepted him as their priest in accordance with the order of Brahma when they were abandoned by their spiritual master, Brihaspati, whom they had disrespected. Alright, so this is what's going to lead us into the whole story. This last verse here is going to lead us into the whole story of Chitraketu Maharaj, right? Am I right? I think so, yeah. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the sixth canto, 6th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled The Progeny of the Daughters of Dakṣa. So, next chapter, this is a great part of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Let's see. Oh, there's a table. I should have been looking at this table while I was reading. That would have made more sense. Anyways, we'll look at this table again tomorrow. And Kashyapa Aditi. So yeah, tomorrow we'll hear about how Indra offends his spiritual master Brihaspati. And then Indra fails to respect Brihaspati. Then the next chapter is then the Narayan Kavacha shield. And then, oh cool, maybe we can do the Narayan Kavacha also. Alright, I'm going to end now. Okay. Equine rhymes with wine. Equine. It's a female horse, zebra, donkey, pony, etc. Okay. Yeah, Urukram is Vamandev. Yeah, I think you're right. Interesting. Yayati is the great emperor of the world and the original forefather of all the great nations of the world who belong to the Aryan and Indo-European stock. Alright. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Sorry. Natila Pavishtam Vishnupada Shatarashata Shmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Natila Pavishtam Vishnupada Shatarashata Shmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Natila Pavishtam Vishnupada Shatarashata Shmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Natila Pavishtam Vishnupada Shatarashata Shmad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Natila Pravishta Mahabhagavat Srila Gokshtadas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Natila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Natila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jeev Gopal Patadasha Gunath Shara Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाते गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंज श्याम कुंज यमुना गंगा तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-Bhāgavatam की जय। श्री निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाय कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Dandava pranams. Cool, so that's your Gotra, right? Rup Manjari, you're in the Kashyapa Gotra? Very interesting. And does that make me in the Yayati Gotra, according to what Pradyumna Prabhu said? I don't know. That's a question I have. What's, like, everybody has a Gotra. Everybody has to have a Gotra, right? Otherwise, how can you be existing? You have to come in some kind of lineage, so... Anyways. Presumably, if you know the answer to that, let me know. All right, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. See you all either this evening or tomorrow morning.